So I want to talk to you about something. I have been thinking a lot lately about really exactly what is Donald Trump doing here. On the one hand, I see that this 80-year, remember, they want to make sure you only see the 80 years of British control, and that control is a lot greater than 80 years. But let's, for the sake of the argument, so Trump is undoing this 80-year relationship with Britain called the special relationship. So I'd go, great. Then President Trump is on our side. He's going to be, go America, America first. But then on the same day, I see this rollout of promoting AI in public schools, and I realize the horror of that. I mean, he is the one who kept promoting the vaccine. He's never walked that back, and that it bothers me. So I said, okay, I've got to get to a higher level here and look down and see maybe what I'm missing. What is it that I'm not seeing about him? And I walked away with this thought, Douglas. Maybe he sees that he has the keys to control the world now because he's figured out the British control. He's going to put them at bay. He will be able to rule tariffs all across the world from what he's doing. He's reaching across the Bering Strait to have relationship with Russia. A lot of big power plays on the globe. I mean, I see an oligarch here making these huge, big movements on the globe. And I go, what if he thinks he can be king of the world now and he's going for the big play? And that bothers me. I want you to talk about that because this promotion of AI is another damaging thing to citizens, just like the vaccines were. And so why would he be promoting another bad thing on citizens?
Well, Donald Trump is basically a Hollywood narcissist, and so he doesn't care. He cares about his image, and he is convinced he's the king of the world, except in his own hometown called America, Washington, D.C. He has to play the political game. So he's learned a lot of things, but basically, here's the deal. He is a businessman. That's the reason we wanted to elect him, because no one in D.C. could run a pop stand. They couldn't run an ice cream cone stand. They couldn't run a lemonade stand. They're such idiots. But they can do a lot of insider trading, and they all become multimillionaires. But Donald Trump is a capitalist, and he is leveraging every single situation.
And he's selling everything.
He is merchandising crypto coins for his family now. So the brand of Trump is going to continue. Now, how that's going to work is he's trying to consolidate. So look what he's done with Truth Social. He's using that to consolidate his crypto empire, which is now into the billions of dollars overnight. Also his real estate interests. But he's realized that it's all controlled by machines. So he believes that he's same thing with Warp Speed, he's in a race and he's going to win. And so he's now going to manipulate innocent children to try to sell techism, the hopium of technology, which is the same hopium we had for nuclear energy, the same hope we had for all kinds of technology, which all turned out to be evil, harmful, deleterious, horrible things for human beings. He doesn't care. He's going to die soon. If you look at him, he's got some medical problem. One would say he's kind of got a dementia of bipolarism. Why? Because sometimes he looks like he's depressed and he's controlling the world with what he's saying in a news conference. And at the other time, he's gone nuts saying crazy stuff and gone crazy selling gold watches and what's going to be next? He would sell his mother at this point. He uses Melania, the fake letter from Melania about the poor children to Putin. All a lie. Melania and AI, all a lie. Melania's not promoting this, or she's a total idiot. Remember, when Melania and Trump came to power, they were supposed to get rid of vaccines for children because it creates autism. Did they? No. Did they help us during the pharmaceutical World War III? No. Do they cause peace? Through economic pressure, because there is no such thing as a justification for an ism to create a war. So the Nazism, the Party of Regents in Ukraine, is a leftover creation of the British fascism that bled into Ukraine, especially after the USSR dissolved. So what we have here are isms, and wars are fought on isms. Capitalism. But this is American capitalism, which basically means it's all fake, it's all credit, it's all non-real. It has nothing to do with reality. It has to do with futures, with derivatives. It has to do with betting on the stock market. Well, he doesn't bet on the stock market. He wants real stuff for his family. That's what he's doing. And Melania, I think Melania checked out a long time ago. But Trump, no, those things on his hand, that's probably from injections of something. So why do you take injections in the wrist that cause your palm to do that? That happens to many people in the hospital. Because you've already used up your veins in your arm. So he's getting some kind of injections, okay? And these injections cause him to look like he has dementia, but in a bipolar way. So he already busted the Brits. They gave him $4.5 billion to start Truth Social, which is his asset management company, really, when it comes down to it. What did he do about the 60,000 complaints of people who were kicked off of social media? Nothing. He created Truth Social. What's he going to do about the now in the hearings in Congress? 6,000 affidavits of corruption and fraud, all of which had proof, now coming to light. Well, what happened during the interim? Why were those things not considered before? He's on a revenge tour. He just said he's happy to have them. They're all spies. Who doesn't know that? If you pay it, what I like is that politicians act like they don't pay attention to the news. Their whole life is the news. That's a lie. That's a fake. For Trump to act like he doesn't know that every Chinese student is a spy is just stupid. That's just completely impossible.
Well, that's why I'm saying let's back up. If that is a truth, remember, like how you did with the false flags, you would say, well, maybe it's legal. And then you looked and you found out, well, doggone it, they made it legal to propagandize against us. So maybe what we're seeing is a truth, but what would that mean?
We shouldn't have anything to do with China. Not in trade, not in any way. No students from China, no tech from China.
Okay, then
period.
What does that say if Trump is allowing that?
That's just so that he gets good tariff deals and business deals. But he's also at the same time stabbing China in the back. He knows China's faltering. He keeps up the myth that we're in a race with China for AI. No, we are not. Complete insanity. Deep Search, as I pointed out, a Chinese company flying under a false flag, did nothing more than steal the last Grok iteration. They just reverse engineered it. Hello? China doesn't invent anything. They don't have inventive people.
I just want to remind folks, I posted a video the other day about how the Chinese news services work, and everything is controlled by the government. The video is really good. It outlined that. They cannot say anything bad about China. And so this is why we're seeing all these news reports on how they're making the robots and they're doing AI and all that. They cannot report otherwise.
And then they do a big example of their robotism. And then they have a little race and all the robots none of the robots can finish the race. How about the robots playing soccer? Have you seen that one? This is China's big ticket to say that AI is taking over the world and robots. You're going to buy a housewife.
How about their bridges just falling apart,
Everything's falling apart. And everything they build, there's no thought in it. That's the reason they keep having tremendous floods and dams that break and cities that have to be imploded because nobody's living there. And they've basically, you can't even imagine the nightmare going on in China.
No, when you say that, that means you have the drain covers where all your sewage and water and everything from the streets is pouring in from a rain. And so you have the grates on top of it. But the Chinese thinker can't see the depth in that situation. They only see that if you put these grates on, you don't have a water problem. So they just lay the grate right on top of the concrete because they can only see the surface of the issue. And then the rains come and the whole town, the whole city's flooded because those weren't sewer systems. They were just grates laying on top of concrete. It's fake.
The Chinese are a regressive evolution of group consciousness, animalistic per se. And so they decide theoretical concepts that have nothing to do with reality from the Central Committee. And the Belt and Road Initiative, a failure in every single aspect. And that was supposed to bring them into being the Kissinger superpower that takes over for America. No, not going to happen, not even close. As I said, the tariffs alone would cause China's industry to collapse, and it has. And now they're trying to come back, but they cannot come back because Trump doesn't like the Chinese in America. But the Chinese students in America, why he wants that? Because in his mind, which is somewhat demented, he thinks he wants the smart students here in America learning so that then we can get them in industry. No, they take all the secrets back to China, or they take them back to the Mossad. That's where really the high tech is through Talpiot and Mossad. So anyway, Trump, you can't explain Trump now. Trump is erratic, completely 100% insanely erratic. I cannot predict anything that Trump is going to do. I don't think anyone can. Not his family, not his Melania, no one. So he is, in some cases, looking like the best president we ever had, and in other cases, looking like a nutcase.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? I think he's doing that on purpose, as well as I believe he's getting older and he's getting more frail. You know, he's having problems with his leg and his foot and his this and that, and with his mental acuity. But fortunately, businessmen don't lose their mental acuity. They are still ruthless even in their last negotiation.